Mess here today, Genesis chapter 44, verse 18. Then Judah went up to him and said, O my Lord, please let your servant speak a word in my Lord's ear, and let not your anger burn against your servant, for you are like Pharaoh himself. So y'all see, Genesis 43, it shows us growth, right? But Genesis 44 tests us whether it's permanent or it's not. You see, Joseph isn't playing games no more, right? He's finishing what God started. Right, he tells his steward in verse 1 to fill up their sacks with food again. Then in verse 2, he says this, put my cup, the silver cup, in the mouth of the sack of the youngest. Right, not random, not emotional, but intentional. Right, it's Benjamin again. Right, the same brother. Right, the same setup. One brother singled out, one brother favored. Same pressure that exposed jealousy and violence before. Right, so if they haven't changed, this is where it's going to show up at. Right, they leave Egypt thinking everything is fine, but then verse 4 pulls up. It says Joseph sends his steward after them. Right, the accusation, it hits hard. Why have you repaid good with evil? Right, that line should echo, because that's exactly what they did to Joseph years ago. Right, they deny it immediately. Verse 9, bold confidence. Right, whichever of your servants is found, with it shall die, and we also will be my Lord's servants. Right? Careful what you say when you think you're innocent. Okay? The sacks are open from the oldest to the youngest. Right? Slow. Right? Building tension. Right? And then verse 9 says, the cup was found in Benjamin's sack. Right? That's the moment. Right? Scripture says in verse 13, then they tore their clothes, right? That's grief. That is shock. That is dread, right? But here is what matters, right? They didn't leave him. Years ago, they sold a brother and went home without him. And this time, verse 13 says, every man loaded his donkey and they returned to the city, right? Nobody ran. Nobody said that's his problem. Nobody sacrificed Benjamin to save themselves. Right, and you see, that is growth. Right, they stood before Joseph again, and this time Judah steps forward. Right, this is the same Judah who once said, what profit is it if we kill our brother? Right, now he says this in verse 16, God has found out the guilt of your servants. Right, that is accountability without excuses. Right, Joseph says the rest of you can go free. Only Benjamin stays. Right, and there it is, the escape route. Right, Joseph hands them the